episode 97, and welcome into the special edition of the Benches Cleared podcast, where we cover the best rivalry in all of sports, even though this sport is not even a thing at the moment. I am Jesse Gutierrez, and I represent the side of the San Francisco Giants.
And I'm Tyler Coe, and I represent the side of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Not much to talk about on the Dodgers front, so I'm just going to go ahead and start off the episode. Big congrats to Big Papi, made the Hall of Fame, first year ballot kind of guy, just a guy you want to hang out with. Great guy, had a great career. Big Papi deserves it. He was the only guy who made it, so we can move on to the negotiations because he was the only one who made it. So don't really need to talk about any more Hall of Fame stuff, am I right?
Fuck you, fuck the baseball writers, fuck everyone involved, fuck you if you think Barry Bonds doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. If you think that, your mom's a hoe, okay? I'm just so upset, okay? We've been, and at this point, I'm honestly sick of making my case about all the things we've been saying these past 10 years. I mean, the 3 years we've been podcasting. I think it's been 3 years, right? We've been 3 years together.
Something like that.
How many times can we talk about Hall of Famer before the steroids? Their steroid users are in the Hall of Fame. How can you have a baseball museum without arguably the best hitter of all time? There's nothing more that needs to be said. The fact is these baseball writers are pick last in kickball. You know, Barry hurt their feelings on some sort of interview or whatever. And I don't know. These nerds suck, and fuck you. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to do. Chocolate Rain.
Well, let me just tell you something, Jesse. Cheating never pays off. Okay. I'm just fucking with you.
Tell that.
Yeah, dude. Here's the thing. I really let myself believe. I was talking to a buddy of mine before. I was like, "Do you think he gets in?" You're like, "Yeah, I think he does because the Hall of Fame knows it's a fucking joke if they don't let him and Clemens in."
Right.
And I let myself believe that today. I was like, "You're right. He's going to get in." Because how could they not? I thought that they were just dragging this out to the 10th year
right,
so they could prove their point for those 9 years and being like, "We have a moral compass that we need to follow," and blah, 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 blah. And then they would finally be like, "You know what? These are one of the best pitchers of all time, one of the best just pure baseball players of all time." And they fucking botched it. They fucked it up. They didn't botch it because they knew what they were doing. Right. They just want to, stand up and say, "This is the decision we made. We've made it 10 years in the running, and we're not going to change our minds now."
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I mean, it's crazy. I myself, a few years ago, was like, "No, he cheated." But right. I've come around. Because once you know,
you grow up.
Once you know the facts about everything,
your balls drop.
Well, but yeah, I mean, listen, anyone who voted for A-Rod this year, first year on the ballot, and didn't vote for Barry Bonds is a piece of shit because Alex Rodriguez actively cheated. There were rules against steroids. He violated that. He served a year suspension, whereas Ortiz, Bonds, Clemens, those guys did steroids when it wasn't being tested. There was no mandate against it, no rules against it. So I just don't understand the logic here.
Right. I feel like
Alex Rodriguez shouldn't even be getting 20% of the vote. If that's the hill that everyone's going to die on,
right?
Then that should be true. But
yeah,
here we are.
He probably has a better chance of getting to the Announcers Hall of Fame. But one thing I do want to say about David Ortiz, he does deserve to be in. There's like this whole thing about, he's gonna be the lowest WAR, since some guy, like in the early 19s or whatever. Who cares? He's a DH, one of the best DHs of all time. In his postseason accolades, I mean, if you don't what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like if he's not let in. So huge, he very much deserves it. And his steroid tested positive is a little bit of a little shaky of a instance, I guess you could say. It was when they were
It may have not have been the most reliable test could have been a false positive. But also, let's remember, no one was ever supposed to know about that anyways.
Right.
The only reason they know about that is because of the government, or else no one would have ever known.
Yeah, fuck the government, man.
So
shit, watch me get cut off right now.
So thanks a lot, Joe Biden. It's all Byron's fault, or whatever they're calling him nowadays.
Yeah, Byron. Who's the president right now?
Yeah.
Yes, I understand.
That's
I get
right.
what you're saying.
Who's the president of the Baseball Hall of Fame? I want to talk to that guy because that guy's a bitch.
Beans, rice,
Letting
Jesus
these
Christ,
baseball
and
writers play
Byron.
God and think they're important.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's right.
there's there's one thing that I do, because here's the thing. I don't think we're saying anything that hasn't been said by every baseball podcast right now. I think at this point we're just, for me as someone who grew up, you know, Barry Bonds being one of my favorite players, it's just disappointing. But one thing that I think that does need to be said that I haven't heard yet is I'm a huge Jeff Passan fan. I read a lot of his shit, and, I listen to, his takes. I think he has very good takes. I like him a lot. The only thing I just don't like his stance on how Barry needs to be in the Hall of Fame, and that the Hall of Fame is messing up if they don't let him in. But you have a vote, and you're not actively trying to do that for him. I get why he doesn't want to vote. I heard his reasoning, and I understand it. But then you can't write a piece talking about how, the museum is going to be missing something if Barry's not in, and you have a voice to change that, and you don't use it. That is kind of weird to me. I get some writers want to do the, attention clickbait thing. I voted for this person, but not Barry Bonds, and here's why, and those people are just like, they should have their votes taken away. There's no excuse for that.
The worst.
Yeah. But I don't know. There's no other way to do it, because the thing is journalists are supposed to be unbiased, and anybody else who votes would be biased. Fans, players, all that, they're all biased. They just need to be held accountable. I think these writers just need to have their votes taken away if they do dumb shit like that. I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about it. I hope he gets in. I hope he gets in the Veterans Committee. But
what's crazy to me is, he's still, that's an uphill battle for him too. I mean, that's 75%, 12 of 16 guys or whatever it is. So that's still, and you have guys like, the late great Joe Morgan. You have guys in that committee who still think like that, who,
right.
That letter that they openly wrote saying they don't want guys from the steroid era. But when you let David Ortiz in, David Ortiz earned his spot. When David Ortiz earned his Hall of Fame status today, don't you think it's a little bizarre that he is a first ballot Hall of Famer and Barry Bonds, not even that Barry Bonds didn't get in, but they both tested positive for steroids, and you make this hill to die on that you're not going to let him in, or that we believe they would let him in on the 10th try. But David Ortiz gets in first ballot.
Yeah.
So you're so against steroids. You want to punish Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, but then David Ortiz, first ballot, let him in, no problem, which I believe he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. But you have to think David Ortiz being David Ortiz really helped his case, whereas Barry Bonds being Barry Bonds,
right,
and Clemens being Clemens really hurt their case, because they're not the most likable guys.
And that's what I'm saying. The writers were in their fields. They are, they're just, they got their feelings hurt, and they're, they're holding this little bit of power over them, and it's a joke. There's not much else that needs to be said as far as that, but congratulations, David Ortiz. He really deserves it. Really good player. But so does Barry Bonds. Of course, and Roger Clemens too, but I just don't have a heart for Roger Clemens. Whatever. Not gonna keep me up at night.
Sure.
I'm gonna cry myself to sleep tonight.
I think we'll see them in. Yeah. I think we'll see them in there eventually, but
I hope so.
And it's what everyone's saying. It's what everyone's saying about it should be treated as a museum. And imagine going through with your kids one day and they see all the Barry Bonds stuff, and having to explain like, yeah, he was a great player. There was this, but he was the greatest home run hitter of all time.
Yeah, and fuck
that needs to be in there. You're
right.
leaving out a huge part of the story of the entire sport.
And fuck the Hall of Fame, dude, for displaying his
it
home
is
run,
what it is.
56 home run. I mean, his game, his home run, record-setting home run ball with the asterisk out. Like,
is it the Mark Echo one?
Like, yeah, fuck you, dude. Like, I like, they're a joke solely because of that.
Yeah, well,
I get it. You want to put it in there, but to have it displayed like that with the asterisk instead of turning it around, and you're gonna let some fucking designer, hold it, like, have a say what goes on in the hall, and you're supposed to be this like, go fuck yourself, dude. Go fuck yourself. That's what my wife's cousin does. So I'm giving it.
Yep. Well. Yep. They both, Barry Bonds, Clemens, deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Didn't get there. Your boy Tim Lincecum fell off. Only got, I think, 9 votes, so he was like 2.5%. So Tim Hudson is off.
Yeah, makes sense.
Some ones to me that kind of jumped out just to go over it. Joe Nathan, 17 votes, so he's getting kicked off.
Oh.
I feel like as far as relievers go in baseball, I mean, Joe Nathan's, he's up there.
Right.
Ryan Howard off, Mark Teixeira off, Justin Morneau off, Jonathan Papelbon off, Prince Fielder off, AJ Przinsky off, which that's awesome. And then Carl Crawford and Jake Peavy got 0 votes, which is absolutely right.
Right.
They shouldn't have any. So we'll see next year who doesn't get in, because no one's getting in next year.
I definitely wish Timmy would have a little bit more of support. I mean, I understand longevity is important, but I don't know. Sometimes fire in a bottle, or lightning in a bottle, is, I don't know. I mean, all his accolades, I can't believe that he's not like staying on the ballot. I can see how you don't want him in. I would honestly be okay if he got voted in, obviously, but I don't know. Like it's the whole argument, the Don Mattingly argument. Like, I don't know, if you're on top for like 4 or 5 years, literally the number one, like, I don't know. I feel like Tim Lincecum, if he just would have accepted a role in the bullpen, he would have, been able to get some saves and maybe make a case, but I don't think that was important to him. He just wanted to start and be that guy.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, looking at that, I mean, I'm just going to put this out there. Kenley Jansen's a Hall of Famer. And if anyone disagrees, they're a fucking idiot. So I just want to put that out there, because I have a feeling that Kenley is not going to be coming back to the Dodgers, which segues into kind of what we're talking about. There were talks today.
They're talking.
And yesterday. 2 days of talks.
Nudie talking day.
Nothing happened, but there were 2 days of talks. And that's good enough for us, because what the fuck else is there going on? Things seem like they're progressing a little bit, slowly but surely.
Right. It seems like they are progressing, which is very very encouraging. I don't know if they're just kind of not trying to, they're trying to announce it at the right moment, because football is just killing it right now. But at the same time, you're kind of playing with fire at that moment, because
that has nothing to do with it, but okay.
You don't think that they're kind of mediating it, like that they want to announce at the right time? You really don't think they would do something like that?
Fuck no. Pitchers and catchers are supposed to report in like 3 weeks. And there are a ton of free agents out there right now. This deal needs to be done 3 weeks ago. So no, I don't think football has anything to do with it.
I think it has a little bit to do. I think it's definitely possible.
You jackass.
you ass. You stupid ass. Yes, I do think it could. I'm not saying that it does. I'm just saying that it could. But once it ends, I don't know if you heard, Ken Rosenthal has this, does this podcast for the Athletic Podcast Network, and he was talking about how when the lockout ends, how it's going to be even crazier than when the lockout started. So there's like a flurry of moves that are going to happen right away. I'm sure they were like really close, but couldn't do the paperwork and like have handshake deals. So that's going to be very exciting. So I think when baseball comes back, they're going to come back with a boom. But also I think that right.
Which I just want to say, I'm gonna cut you off real quick.
Cut me off.
I'm gonna cut you off because this is just a perfect point to say it. There is going to be a boom, and I don't know if you were reading. Apparently, the Braves and the Athletics were having some pretty big talks about a Matt Olson trade. Which, if that happens, guess where our boy Freddie's going? Guess where he's going, Jesse?
Not to the
Dodgers.
Coming
home, baby.
He's not going to the Dodgers.
To the Dodgers, baby.
I would be willing to bet almost
I'm talking
anything.
40 home runs a season. Oh, yeah? Well, if he does come to the Dodgers, how about you have to wear a Dodgers hat to the game? You won't because you're too much of a puss. I'll let you finish, puss boy.
Exactly. I'm not stupid. Like, that is a stupid bet. I'm not doing that. Like, I have respect for myself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So no.
Uh-huh. Look at you. You don't have any respect for yourself.
Look at you, disgusting piece of shit. Yeah. Well, there's since we're
you don't have any self-respect.
I mean, we did some polls, so maybe we should talk about some polls because I need to stop listening to you and listen to the world right now. So we asked you guys when this lockout was going to end, and everyone's pretty optimistic. They say it's before spring training. So I think that everyone knows what they have to lose, and I'm going to agree with it. I'm going before spring training. Tyler, what are you spitting down? You negative Nancy bitch.
No, I think it's going to get delayed. I don't think spring training is going to start on time.
But do you think games are going to be lost?
I think the MLB, in their talks, I don't know, because I think what they were doing yesterday when they were talking about their willingness to cancel game, I think that's just posturing.
Right.
That's just, trying to present some urgency to get shit done. But I don't think so. I mean, I think if anything, it would be shorten spring training by like a couple weeks.
Right.
And then I don't know if you can do that because guys need to ramp up, especially coming off the first full season after a shortened season.
Right.
So, if anything, I think a full 162, maybe extending the regular season into the middle of October. We'll see. I hope to God it just gets done and everything goes back to normal and we don't have to deal with this for another 7 years or whatever it is. So,
right.
We will see.
By the way, this will be the second season.
What else we got here?
This would be the second season from a shortened season. Yeah, there was a whole nother season played, Tyler. Braves won the World Series. There we go. I don't know if you were there. Giants won the division.
Yeah, I'm saying last season was the first season. Okay, fuckface. Oh yeah, how'd they do in the playoffs? That's right. That's what I thought.
And so how the Dodgers do in the playoffs? Both got kicked out. So who cares?
We asked Dodger fans. You can only choose one. Get out of Bauer's deal, or baseball starts on time. A lot of people hate Trevor Bauer more than they love baseball, which
makes
is
sense.
Understandable. 61% of you said get out of Bauer's deal. 39% of you said baseball starts on time. I'm going to go with option C. I'm going both. I know that wasn't an option, but that's what I'm choosing. Yeah. But get out of Bauer's contract. We use some of that money in cap space to bring what's his name? Freddie Freeman.
Freddie Fried.
Back to LA. Back home, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go from there. Win a few World Series. It's going to be still and chill, boys.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Giants fans love their players versus, Dodgers fans just hating the people that they sign. This is maybe a little bit late to do this poll, but I'm going to say it now, and we're going to stop talking about it, okay? But we did ask you guys, what would you rather have, Bonds to the Hall or baseball starts on time? And overwhelmingly, we got Bonds to the Hall with 72%, which ironically still is not enough to get anybody into the Hall of Fame. So we need to crack them.
Yeah, there you go.
We need to crack.
You guys were 3% short. You blew it.
You blew it. Yes, but since that didn't happen, that means baseball has to start on time.
Yeah. Well, today I read the report saying that Seiya Suzuki is expected to sign with the Boston Red Sox once the lockout ends. And I almost creamed my jeans because something was actually happening in baseball. I almost had a heart attack at my desk
I miss
because
hearing.
I've been waiting for so long.
Right. I miss hearing, oh, the Giants have interest in player A. Like, and I used to get so mad, like, I get
right.
so over that shit. But now I would literally like kill somebody for that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I would kill. Yeah. I would kill for anything because I'm tired of reading articles like, is Clayton Kershaw going to leave? And it's like, well, who the fuck knows? Because nothing's happened for
Right.
6 weeks or whatever it is. But I mean, I don't know. At least, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But how do you feel about, it's come out that your boy,
My boy.
the prodigal son, Gausman, didn't even get an offer from your Giants because they're cheap
They really
and they
dropped the ball.
suck.
That is a bullshit move if I ever heard of one. I can't believe. I get that they maybe wouldn't want to go 5 years for, a 31-year-old pitcher. I think he would be worth it. I mean, obviously at the tail end of his deal, his last year or two might not be that great, but you're paying for the first 3 years, first 2 years. I think he's a very good pitcher. He might not be as dominant as he was the first half of this season, but he was still very valuable, and the Giants don't have fucking pitching right now. I'm very bummed. I'm a big Gausman fan. Obviously I've expressed that multiple times, but yeah, man, very disappointed in, because here's the thing. I know the Giants are in this. They're not gonna, be the big guys. You're not gonna, do 12-year deals, but they do spend money. Right, with this regime, they spend, I think last year, the second most of any team on free agents. They just sign mid-tier guys, and that's fine. If they're going to consistently sign mid-tier guys and pay, those type of dudes, cool. I'm fine with that. But at the same time, when this dude was your ace, heart and soul of your clubhouse, I don't know. I think that was a big miss to not even try to be like, hey, if you want to stay in America and you want to, be where you're comfortable, why don't you come for 3 years and we'll give you a little bit more per year. He might have said no to that, and that's fine. But to not even give him an option, I think that shit is shot.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap it up, I have one question.
I got a question for you too.
Just
So yeah, do you
curious,
first.
just off the top of my head. Let's say the lockout is coming to an end, and in the next week or two, it comes to an end. What move do you think is going to be most important for the Giants to make once transactions can resume?
Starting pitching, and starting pitching. I don't think that they're going to sign any of the top tier pitchers. I don't think they're going to go for Carlos Rondon because I think he's going to command a lot of money. Plus, he has a crazy injury history. Unless he, the Giants have a history for signing injury-prone guys, knowing that they're only going to give them 20 starts. And because that means they don't have to pay him that much money. So it's possible, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think that they're going to try to trade for, Sonny Gray or Luis Castillo, maybe one of the A's pitchers, or maybe even a guy who no one's thinking of that's going to be our Anthony DeSclafani this year, or, the Kevin Gausman 2 years ago, the Drew Pomeranz 3 years ago. I mean, they need starting pitching. It's just who are they going to get?
Yeah. I feel I'm kind of split for the Dodgers. I think we need pitching.
Right.
And I think we're kind of going to be targeting the same guys because I think Luis Castillo and Sonny Gray are
everyone is
nice trade targets for the Dodgers because Rondon, like you were saying, I think a Yusei Kikuchi might be worth taking a flyer on.
Yep.
Because now that he opted for free agency, I think you could get him for kind of cheap.
Right.
And then we have the whole shortstop dilemma and also maybe a left-handed bat dilemma. So that's where maybe Freddie Freeman fits in. But I just want Carlos Correa to sign somewhere else so we can put all the shit to bed about him coming to the Dodgers because it's not going to happen.
No.
So That
Uh,
I'm just excited to get that over with.
right. I don't think the Dodgers are going to sign him when they have the Mookie Betts. They can afford it, but with the Mookie Betts contract and to have that long term, I don't think it's smart to also sign Carlos Correa. And plus, I don't think the Dodgers are going to do it. As far as the Kikuchi thing, the only thing that okay, as far as the Kikuchi thing, I feel like the Giants won't do it because I think he already had a 3-year deal on the table. So I don't think they would go match 3 or 4 years for him. That would surprise me because of their track record, but I would be down for it.
Yeah. Also, I think the Dodger fans forget we have Trey Turner. And I'm excited to see what Trey's going to do, being able to play shortstop every day and not have to play second base. And I think it's realistic that maybe they extend Trey mid-season. I mean, I wanted to say they were going to extend him before the season, but now it's spring training, probably being pushed back and just all this shit. Who knows? But dude, Trey Turner is a star. And I think people, because of how he played second base, because of, his playoffs weren't that great. Dude, I mean, he's a top 5 shortstop.
Easy.
For sure. Without a doubt. So,
and
I think we're going to be okay not signing Carlos Correa or Trevor Story.
Right. I think that with the funny thing with Trey Turner is, and I think that what kind of clouded Dodger fans' judgment is usually Trey Turner kills the Giants. I'm always worried about that dude. But for some reason, him in a Dodger uniform, he didn't do much against the Giants this year. I'm still scared of him. I think that's going to change. I hope it doesn't. I hope it stays this way, but I wouldn't put any money on it.
Yeah. He's going to be an all-star next season. Right. And I'm hoping he's part of the plans for a long time, but we'll find out.
Yep. And I've been seeing a lot of this stuff on Twitter about how, I don't really want to set up the question before asking the question because I feel like I might give it away. Tyler, if you're going to sign a pitcher, right? So let's say a 2-year deal, whatever. Let's say you sign either player A, which is, let's see what these numbers are. It's going to be a pitcher who's coming into his age 30 season. He's got, over the last couple years, let's just say a 3.26 ERA and then a 3.9 ERA. WHIP over 1.2 both years, right? He has for year one pitched 129 innings with 109 strikeouts. The second year, 207 innings, but with 203 strikeouts. Okay, and then we look at player B, right? Last 2 years. 2020, he pitched with a 2.16 ERA. Second year, 3.55. 2020 season, so it's really short. It's 58 innings with 62 strikeouts. And then in 2021, 121 innings with 144 strikeouts. So he's pitching more than a strikeout per inning. And the WHIP is under 1 in the year before, and the WHIP is just over 1 this last year. Which pitcher are you going to take? And he's going into his age 34 season, though.
Okay, I was going to say, what's the age of player B?
Mm-hmm. Remember, this is going to be a short deal, and player 1's going to want at least like a 4-year deal, where player 2 is probably going to only command a 2-year deal, maybe.
The player 2.
That's funny. Because
are we saying the evaluation as far as hold on? Right. Are we saying the AAV is going to be the same, more or less, between the two?
I think
or is one substantially cheaper?
I think the AAV is going to be close. I think player 2, because it's going to be a shorter deal and is more highly regarded, is going to get a bigger AAV. But player A it's going to be close. It's not going to be. It's going to be maybe like I'd say, maybe a $5 million difference a year.
Okay, player 2? I'll play your little fucking game. Who are we talking?
Thank you for proving.
Is this going to be like fucking DeScalfani and someone?
No, it's not. It's definitely someone. You got the second player right. It's not DeScalfani. Player 1 because after this player was going to leave the Giants rotation, I heard a lot of people from Dodgers Twitter saying, sign him, bring him over, we'll take him. And that is one Madison Bumgarner, who started to tail off a little bit before his signing. And that's not me talking shit about him. I love Madison Bumgarner. I really want him to do well. But he did kind of tail off a little bit the last couple of years before he signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and Dodgers were talking about, bring him. We'll take him. We'll take as much starting pitching as we can get. He's a good pitcher. Let's go. But there's been this shift in Dodgers Twitter about Clayton Kershaw. This disrespect. Why would you even want him? No, he's gone. He's going to Texas. We don't even want him. Dude pitched a 3.55 ERA last year. Yeah, he's not going to give you 35 starts like he's given you the past, since 2009. I get it. But he's also not going to command $30 million a year. I think he's going to get probably what you think, 23, 24 million maybe?
At least.
Yeah.
Well, I think Texas will give him more money, but I think the Dodgers will get close because it's going to be a legacy deal. It's going to be just keep him in Dodger uniform for his entire career. If they do it, I still don't think they will. But before you even say anything, I agree with you.
Okay,
dude, Clayton Kershaw is a solid 3 starter on the Dodgers,
right,
and a solid 2 other places,
right.
I mean, he could even be, a 1 in a couple places maybe for a year,
right.
But yeah, I mean, dude, if Dodger fans didn't figure it out last year, you need as much starting pitching as you can get. And if you can get former elite, borderline still elite, a solid 3 guy, you take him.
I still feel like you're underselling it.
Like, without a question.
It's
you think he's elite still?
If you look at his shit, elite to the rest of the league, as in better than the average starter, yes. He definitely is. He is not.
Oh, of course.
He is not Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, he's above average. He's far above average.
Then is that not? I guess elite would be more than above average, but I think he could be. At times he's definitely going to be elite. So, it's crazy to me the disrespect on Dodgers Twitter that I see about how Clayton Kershaw let him go. He's done. He's fucking done. When he just gave you a 3.5, yes, he's not, like I said, he's not giving you 200 innings anymore. He's
100% no.
He's going to give you 150 innings maybe. Last year he gave you 120. Maybe he gives you 120 again. And from what my feel of him last year is that he was out a lot. So if he gives you a solid 120 innings, I think you'll get his money worth out of him. 3.55 ERA, more than a strikeout per inning. Whips just at 1. That is elite. Maybe borderline elite.
Yeah, believe me, I think the Dodgers should keep Clayton Kershaw.
Right, but you see what I see,
let
right?
Him walk. I think that would be terrible.
Right, but you've seen what I see, right?
But this is every Dodger fan. This is just every sports fan in general. It's like me with Kenley Jansen. During the season, I could say some mean shit about Kenley Jansen, and I don't necessarily have the numbers to back it up, but I'm going to say it anyways. Right. And then earlier this episode, I'm saying he's a Hall of Famer.
Right.
So, I think that's just the kind of the game, but no, dude, Clayton Kershaw has obviously fallen off a bit because you can't stay that good for that long. Jacob deGrom's going to fall off that cliff in a couple seasons as well. That's just how it is. Right. But I'd still take Jacob deGrom. I'm still going to take Clayton Kershaw. We took Max Scherzer at age 37, and look at the deal he just got.
I'm sorry.
You'd be an idiot to say let him walk.
Right. I think Clayton Kershaw is elite from obviously 2009 to arguably through 2020. Maybe not as far as a horse, but as far as when he's out there being elite, if you look at his shit, it's more than a strikeout per inning, and your ERA is under 3, or in the case of 2019, 3.03. So. All of his whip is under 1, except for when you get down to 2017, 2018, he started going over with 1.0 and then a 4. So that's pretty close to being fucking elite, and it's crazy the disrespect I'm seeing. All I'm saying is if if there's a chance to get Clayton Kershaw in San Francisco, I would take it. No way it's going to happen, but I would fucking take it. In the heartbeat.
Well, of course not. Yeah, it's the only reason he would leave the Dodgers is to be closer to home. That's the only reason. But last thing I'm going to say about it is I think people who are saying they should just let him walk really aren't valuing enough the heartbeat he is in the clubhouse. I mean, him and JT are the guys in the club. They are that clubhouse. The mentor he's been to guys like Walker Buehler, Julio Urias, those guys, Dustin May, I'm sure. And just the benefit of having him being able to pick that guy's brain. And he still pitches very well. I mean, it's very a no-brainer. Well. The Dodgers aren't just going to let him walk. Yeah, the Dodgers aren't going to let him walk. I think between the Dodgers and Clayton, just like they didn't issue in the qualifying offer, it's a mutual respect thing where if he wants to go play in Texas, then, you know, they're going to give him their blessing and he's going to go play in Texas because it's a family thing for him.
Right. Yeah, he doesn't.
But there's no way the Dodgers aren't going to try to give him as much money as possible.
Yeah, but that's just what I'm saying. I mean, I know Twitter GMs, it never pans out, but I'm just saying I don't think people are giving him the respect. Like, it doesn't matter if he wasn't the heart and soul of the clubhouse. I mean, as long as he wasn't a cancer. Like, if he was like a Zach Greinke, you know, not a cancer, but he's to himself. He does his own thing. Even if he was that, with the performance that he has, he would still be valuable. Yes, he would be valuable enough to pay him $20 million a year and know that he's only going to give you.
To be honest with you, I would love to see Zach Greinke. I would love to see Zach Greinke in the Dodger uniform again. I would. I loved him and Kershaw together.
I understand that, but he's not the same.
I would love to see Zach Greinke in a Dodger uniform.
He is gone. So don't pay him.
That you think that, but just wait. Just you know, remember what I said. The episode where let's just end it before we get too crazy. Before I start saying, you know, crazy shit like we should trade Cody Bellinger for
Jeff Kent is a Hall of Famer as well. Last thing,
and also a racist. This episode was brought to you by Renovation Candle Company, where spring candles are coming soon. Jeff Kent's a racist. Go buy some candles, and hopefully we'll be back soon when the lockout ends.
Renovation Candles, buy them, even though Jeff Kent hates Mexicans. That was good. Thank you guys so much.
It's bizarre that you're advocating for Jeff Kent. Hold on, you're advocating for Jeff Kent to be in the Hall of Fame. When we both know he wouldn't advocate for you to even be in this country. Fuck Jeff Kent.
No habla inglés, señor. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to follow us on your favorite podcasting platform as well as YouTube. Follow us on your social medias. Instagram Benches Clear Podcast, Twitter Benches Clear P, and TikTok Benches Cleared. We are back. Baseball's going to be back hopefully in a couple weeks. And we're going to find things to talk about. And we will see you guys maybe next week.
Yeah. I fucking doubt it.
All right. See you then.